Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ureta. Ben Winograd, Vice Chair of Community Development. I think our Chair, Tiffany McGinnis, is having some trouble getting on, so I'll open the meeting. Can I get a motion on the minutes?
So moved.
All right, thank you. All in favor of approving the minutes? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Cortez. And we'll turn over to Rick for walk through our agenda.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, and good morning, everyone. First, want to start by wishing our host a very happy birthday. Jerida is celebrating her birthday today, so happy birthday, Jerida. So first up this morning, everyone will recall back in February, we had presented our very first Vision Zero annual report, and which at the time obviously was marking a very important milestone in our commitment to eliminate all traffic fatalities and serious injuries by 2033. In that meeting, we were looking to develop a supplement to that annual report that would focus solely on quick build projects that we could implement and complete as quickly as possible in the opening of the 2025 construction season. Then these projects are designed to deliver fast and low cost safety improvements that align with our long-term Vision Zero goals of eliminating all traffic deaths. And the supplement that we will discuss this morning highlights where we are accelerating these projects where possible to make an immediate impact on in our town this year. So through you, Mr. Deputy Mayor, sorry, I will turn things over. We have Parker Sorensen with us this morning, along with Dwayne and Greg. Parker had put a lot of work into this supplement and is on the phone. So I think what we will do is have Dwayne or Greg bring the supplement up onto the screen, and we will turn things over to Parker to provide an overview of the supplement.
Fantastic, thank you.
Good morning, thank you, Rick. Just want to make sure that people can hear me.
Yep.
Awesome, and Dwayne, just let me know when things get brought up on the screen.
So it's there now, Parker.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. Apologies, I'm at a conference for the state and don't have good data service, so I appreciate the flexibility. So thank you very much. So going to page 2, just want to step through the quick build supplement really quickly. It's fairly brief, so if you had an opportunity to review, just we'll walk through it and then perhaps take questions at the end, certainly. So as Rick alluded to, just in terms of what quick builds are, essentially, projects that we can implement on a quicker timeline and for lower cost. So this little graphic on the bottom here is actually from the Capital Region Council of Governments. They have a quick build guide, and as you see, quick builds really are in the space between pilot and interim design before like a long-term, more expensive capital project. So as we get to the projects at the end, we actually have projects that are really meant to serve both roles. One in terms of the pilot space, which would be projects really before to kind of test concepts and before capital projects are initiated. But we also have projects here that we've identified that are in this interim design space where there may not be a capital project identified at this point in time, but these quick builds can really serve as a safety improvement until a future date. And then also why quick builds, as many are aware, the town, we maintain over 200 miles of road, not including the state highway. About 30 miles or so were identified in the Vision Zero process as focus area, being a part of the focus area network. And almost 18 miles were identified as either urgent or a high priority. So certainly underscoring, the extent of the areas that we're trying to address. And certainly this process will help us kind of spread um, improvements into areas otherwise not seeing capital improvements. Page 3. Quick build project considerations. So just want to present kind of what we're thinking about from the engineering front as we plan through these projects. In terms of materials, certainly, I'm sure many are aware of the flexible delineator post style. So the yellow post that you see, that's actually something that we've already purchased on Asylum Ave as really a test case. We've had good luck with these, and just in terms of visibility, they have a little bit more presence. And white post, we'll probably see something like what's on the upper left image with like a modular curbing. We worked with John Phillips for several meetings, and for maintenance reasons, those are really the way to go from DPW's point of view. Traversable elements, so you'll see the fairly small in the second row images. These are really essentially speed humps that are laid out in a way. So the yellow you'll see is called a hardened center line. This is actually a photo from downtown Stamford in an install they did, and the intent here is to slow left turning vehicles to reduce turning speeds. In this case, they have a concurrent head crossing, so pedestrians are crossing at the same time as turning traffic, slowing speeds of turning vehicles. I know that's worked out quite well there in a busy area. Or white, you could be doing this on a corner as well. Modular curbing element. Here's a kind of like a 6-foot rubber curb stop on the left, and kind of a circular curbing being used for a neighborhood traffic circle. So both similar items that we're thinking about. And then of course, project information. Of course, we have a lot of information online, and we're doing our best here to engage with folks. But inevitably, these things are going to get installed, and people are going to be wondering what the purpose of these demonstrations are, these quick builds are. And we've talked internally, making sure that we have clear signage of communicating what the purpose of that is. So in terms of considerations for install, certainly we want to recognize that these are cheaper, but certainly require an investment and careful planning. I know there's been a lot of conversation about the range. There's quite a range of costs for these posts. It's important to recognize that what we're looking to put out on the roadways, these are high quality posts looking to withstand 200 impacts or more, and are rated to do so. Some of the less expensive posts that are more kind of akin to like parking lots, they might be needing to be replaced in as little as 5 impacts. So something that's clearly unsustainable if we go for a less expensive product. So making sure that we get the right product out there to withstand the impacts on the roadways is certainly important, and reduce any maintenance needs from Department of Public Works. And then certainly, just in terms of regular maintenance, we're certainly aware that, this could be creating dead space in between, like in the case of a curb extension between a curb ramp and a crosswalk that Public Works may need to go remove snow for, sweeping, making sure drainage is clear. And then certainly, we're going to have to be replacing these on some percentage annual basis. We're assuming 15% annually, and of course, cost estimates. This is really our best homework here at this point till we get underway. So just some of the considerations we're thinking about from the engineering division as we're moving these things forward. Next slide, page 4. So in terms of what we're proposing here as far as the supplement, there's really 6 types of projects that you'll see, and the next and last slide will be a map of where these are. The most common, we have 14 of these, are curb extensions. Really, curb extension is just shortening the crossing distance for pedestrians in a crosswalk by physically narrowing intersections. I'm sure that many people are aware we have many of these hardscaped, but certainly this will be a first for us, this in a quick build format. Second, hard and center line. I discussed this a little bit. Really, just the purpose of this is to slow turning traffic while still providing the space that vehicles need to make any turning movements. We have 2 island treatments, and the only difference really is that if there is or not a crosswalk. So if there is a crosswalk, pedestrian refuge island, I'm thinking we have this in painted format in front of Sedgwick Middle School, so we could see kind of quite easily how that could become a pedestrian refuge island or a median island, not necessarily serving pedestrian traffic, but looking to narrow the roadway, helpful for access management, forcing roadway markings, for example, discouraging through movement in a 2-way left turn lane or other similar movements. And then lastly, we have 2 circular intersections, fairly similar, but neighborhood traffic circle is really a simpler, kind of a cousin to the mini roundabout. It's really meant for a neighborhood street. It's really most appropriate for 4-leg intersections, and it may be actually paired with stop signage. So we have one location that we're proposing to evaluate a neighborhood traffic circle, and really the only infrastructure that goes in for a neighborhood traffic circle is the actual circle itself and the inside of the intersection. And then mini roundabout. Mini roundabouts are larger, yield control on all approaches, and really the big difference that you'll see is the presence of a splitter island as you're approaching the roundabout. The last slide. So here's our map that we have thus far for upcoming quick build projects that we have the goal of constructing this year. We had a few criteria as we're really evaluating potential locations. One, we're looking at being located only on a town maintained facility. Obviously to avoid coordination with DOT, and that slows us down quite a bit at this point in time. Certainly prioritizing areas and locations that are identified as part of the Vision Zero Focus Area Network, making sure we have a good geographic dispersion of projects, and then lastly, making sure that we have a good variety of different quick build types as we described above. So we landed with a list of 25 quick build curb extensions shown in orange, 2 hard and center line locations, so it's kind of like the magenta plus, 2 median island locations on North Main Street and that 2-way left turn lane, really intended. Quick build mini roundabout at Mohegan Drive, Brewster, a neighborhood traffic circle at Elmfield and Somerset. That's a 4-leg and higher crash location, and a set of 5 pedestrian refuge islands in various locations shown in the kind of the green square there. So that really concludes the presentation. Certainly would like to open up or add to pass over to Dwayne or Greg.
Thank you, Parker. Appreciate that presentation. And through you, Deputy Mayor, we'll turn it over to the committee for questions or comments.
Yep, thank you. Let me see my screen. Alberto, any questions?
No questions. Thank you.
Just have so in terms of these will start rolling out right away.
Yes. I'll turn things over to Dwayne for specific timeline.
Okay.
To that question. Thank you.
I'm sorry. I'm actually going to pass it on to Greg or Parker for the timeline. I don't want to misspeak. Thank you.
I'll jump in here. Thank you. Greg Sommer, West Hartford Town Engineer. Yes, so with the approval and adoption of the budget earlier this week, we now have additional Vision Zero funding that we'll begin to use to start procuring some of these items. We've already gotten some quotes. So as soon as we get these materials in, we'll be partnering with Public Works to get those laid out and implemented. So we'll step through these and you'll start seeing these in the next probably couple months or so, I would imagine, depending on lead times of product and availability.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. Looking at the list. I don't think I have any other questions. Anybody else on the call, Mayor?
Yeah, no, I just, we had talked about the flex post. Thank you, Deputy Mayor, sorry, through you. We had talked about ordering some of the flex posts earlier. Do we have any of those in stock to start, or do we have to wait for to order and receive? I mean, is there anything that we can start on quicker, or is it all at that in that time frame of receiving supply?
Yes, I'll take that again, Greg Sommer. So we do have some delineator posts in stock. It's just a matter of whether or not they meet the right, they're appropriate for this application. As we work through this, as Parker alluded to, I think we're more in favor of the delineator post with that curb piece up in that top left image. So those are some of the things we will be looking to purchase, but we do have some of the larger flexible delineator posts that we have on Asylum Avenue. I think we could certainly look to start deploying more of those in the proper applications, but yeah, we will obviously try and accelerate that as best we can.
Okay, through you. Thank you. Thank you. I just, as you know, there is the increased outdoor life in as the weather gets better, and people do feel the very immediate need to change traffic behavior and make our streets as safe as possible. So, and I know that we need to do these professionally. We need to do them right. We need to use the right materials, or they won't be successful. And it can actually add to, if they're not up to the standard that the crash standard and all of that, it can actually make the roads less safe. So we want to make sure that that's the case for sure. But I know there is an urgency felt by everyone that experiences the what car going too fast and a near miss and all of that. So I appreciate that. I did want to talk about the signage and the education and how because this is going to be new. There's a lot of people that are engaged and understand, but there's a lot more of the public that are going to be, what are these things and what's going on? So if you could talk to that.
Sure, through you, Deputy Mayor. We plan to install kind of lawn style signage both before we install a project to let people know that it's coming and kind of maybe even includes a QR code so they can view, go to the website and get some additional information. So that's kind of a little bit of a precursor. And then we also have a plan to have a second sign, which actually, once the improvement is implemented or the quick build, and then it'll provide a little bit more information about what it actually is, so people understand and start to make that connection, because that is the critical piece, that educational component. So we'll be working with Renee McHugh on that, and I believe she has an intern that will be starting in a few weeks. So that'll be one of the first tasks that they'll be working on is coming up with that signage to work in concert with our improvements.
And through you, Deputy Mayor, that is a great, I think, tool, the QR code for people to see what is happening. And that was how far ahead of a project would it be while it's under construction, or could it be a few weeks before, meaning that in a month or so people could see those signs popping up?
It would probably be maybe a couple weeks before. Any more than that, I think you might lose some of that you know, they wouldn't maybe necessarily make that connection, or you start getting some of the, you know, the calls of, you know, what's going on out here. So I think that's probably, and we can experiment with it, but I think 2 weeks is probably a good time range between when we put the first sign out to actually begin laying out and implementing the quick builds.
Thank you. I just a follow-up question through you, Deputy Mayor. It's these quick builds will be on the Vision Zero website, also all listed, and maybe can timelines be estimated timelines be associated with them?
Yes, we can certainly work with Public Works. I don't want to, you know, kind of back them into a corner, but we'll work closely with John and his managers, just so that, you know, we can get a timeline that's that everybody's in agreement with, and we make sure that we're confident we can meet and deliver on.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And one, I have a more general question on the Safe Streets for All grant, if there was any further information on that.
Through you, Deputy Mayor, to the mayor's question, no further information has been sent our way from Federal Highway Administration. We had a conversation about this yesterday, as a matter of fact. So we're still within that, I think, anyways. I'd have to look at our calendar. We may be past the 90-day window that we were first advised of, but we're probably right around in that time period. So we should be at least receiving an update soon, very soon, hopefully, one way or the other, in terms of, okay, it's still being reviewed and give us more time, or more optimistically that you know, we can begin formally processing that grant.
For you, Deputy
Great.
Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Ledwith.
Great, thank you. Well, thank you very much for the presentation. Really appreciate it. And as the mayor says, we're all, you know, we're all looking forward to seeing the progress and starting that process of getting our streets safer. So thank you very much. We appreciate, you know, all these efforts. So Ledwith, do we have other reports from?
We do, Deputy Mayor. Through you, I'll turn it over quickly to our town engineer, who's going to give us an update on the center infrastructure project. And then from there, we will turn it over to Dwayne Martin, who will give a brief department update. We'll keep it as brief as possible. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ledwith. Through you, Deputy Mayor. The center master plan, obviously, if you haven't driven through LaSalle Road construction, it started last month. So Gerber Construction is actively working in 2 different areas on LaSalle Road. They're on the west side, up at the north end near Farmington Avenue, kind of in front of Starbucks and Pry, working almost down all the way to about Union Kitchen. So they're working in that area, and then there's also a work zone they established at the southern end of the project, down near Max Burger, on the east side of the street. So that's helped them out, allows them to kind of move crews and workforce back and forth between those 2, and should help to accelerate the overall project schedule. Right now, they've basically fenced off those work areas. They've pulled the fence about 4 feet off the building, so there's still maintaining access into and out of those businesses. They're doing a lot of exploratory work at this point. I know progress has been a little slow out of the gates, but they're starting to pick up as they, you know, gain familiarity with the site. Some of their submittals are coming in. They're beginning to receive materials, so we expect the pace should pick up in the coming weeks. But they've been working on drainage, a lot of the underground stuff that you know, maybe isn't quite as apparent. In the coming weeks, they'll be installing our Silva cells, which are the underground tree pits, engineered to help those trees really establish themselves and thrive, provide the soil volume needed for the tree roots to expand. So that's a neat technology. We're eager to see how those go in the ground and how those will help in the long term. M&J Construction, we've brought them on. They've been a great partner in this project. They're not only handling our construction management and inspection of the project, but they're also working on our outreach. So hopefully that's keeping a lot of calls and emails off of your desks. I think it's been fairly quiet. They've been doing a good job on our website, pushing out information. They've been doing almost weekly updates to any of the businesses that have registered to receive those. They've also put together business tool packages or tips on things they can do during construction to kind of make sure that they thrive and are still able to conduct business and aren't impacted too much by the construction. So I think that's helped out quite a bit. I know it's been fairly quiet, knock on wood here. We haven't received a lot of negativity or pushback from the business community. So I think they've been doing great to, as far as that outreach component goes. And again, it's kind of helpful where the construction currently started. It's not right in the center of LaSalle Road. So it's kind of given them a good opportunity for the contractor to kind of get things off the ground and get comfortable with the environment before we get into really to the heart of LaSalle Road. So the current setup that you see out there, they'll probably be working in those areas for basically through the end of May, probably into a little bit of June before they move to that next phase of the project. They're going to again just kind of step through basically breaking LaSalle Road up into basically 6 pieces that they'll work through 2 at a time to get that schedule that piece wrapped up basically by the end of this year, probably hopefully right before Thanksgiving time. The Arapahoe parking lot, where they're using that as a staging area, that's helped keep all their equipment close to the job site, and again that'll help with the schedule overall. I know this was one of the concerns or requests we received. We added a couple of project signs out on the site that promote the project. Again, there's a QR code to the project website. So people that are walking by, there's a rendering of what LaSalle Road will look like when it's completed. There's a little plan view, and then just some of the highlights of why we're doing this and how it improves safety, enhances the pedestrian environment, really, the real reasons behind these improvements. So hopefully that's well received by the community. There's 2 of those. One is going to be is out at the Arapahoe parking lot right in the corner there. And then the other is going to be on more of a mobile mount that we can relocate throughout the course of construction to keep it relative and in a good spot so that it's not in the way of construction or of pedestrian passage. So that's a brief update. Just want to mention that the website, I think there was a typo on the division report that I had submitted, but it's westhartfordct.gov/WH Center, and that'll bring you right to the project website. That's what we're promoting to the community and certainly the businesses for any updates on the project. You'll be able to go right there and get up-to-date information. And then the last thing I wanted to just point out before I open up for any questions, next month we're still working closely with Stantec. They're involved throughout the construction project, but they are still working on the master plan, and that'll be something that they're looking to we'll be presenting next month at our CPED meeting on the 21st. They're working to finalize that draft, and we'll be presenting that to you. So with that, I'll certainly turn it back over. If there's any questions on the construction, happy to address any of those.
Great, thank you very much. Open it up. One question I have up front. I know that I've heard some reports, and I've seen the boxes on rodents. It seems to have gotten worse in the center. Are we connecting that to this project, or?
I can respond to that, Deputy Mayor. So this is anytime, and it's not getting worse. I guess I'll start with that.
Okay, good.
So whenever we go through any kind of construction project like this, or even as we've talked through private developments that are occurring through town, part of that process is working with the health district on pest management. So it's more proactive than it is reactive. So with the disruption and the construction occurring on LaSalle and then Farmington next year, it's part of our overall development plan for the project.
Okay, so it's prophylactic, like getting out a bunch more traps.
Yep.
Okay, good. We have questions, and obviously they're very visible, which is, I guess, good that they're out there.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any, Mr. Cortez
No questions.
and Mayor Cantor?
No questions. I just want to say thank you for adding some additional information and renderings. I appreciate that. We've gotten a lot of questions on, why, but, and I also really do appreciate the outreach to the businesses. I think it has been very, very helpful. So again, there's so much thought and planning that goes into, and I don't think a lot of our public understands the preparation that has to happen behind the scenes before an effective project and a productive and really truly done in a way that it helps our community. And so this applies to Vision Zero and this as well. Just thank you.
Absolutely agree with that. So, any other reports? Go on to the next one.
That through you, Deputy Mayor, we'll turn it over to Dwayne Martin, who will give just a quick update on the department.
Great.
Morning, everyone. Dwayne Martin, Director of Community Development. I will be brief, but I do have a few project updates for you. So through you, Deputy Mayor, wanted to mention that we have a new full-time building inspector starting on Monday. We're very happy to have him join our team. He's happy to join the team as well. He will be very busy, but just wanted to mention that. I know there's been some complaints recently due to the high work volume, and that fills a funded position that was vacated. So it's not a new position. Wanted to point that out. Jumping to a project that I believe I mentioned before, but give an update on the Canyon Kennedy Brook watershed analysis study that's about to start. Tomorrow, we're going to get proposals in from consultants to assist the town with this effort. And as a reminder, it's an area of town that experiences a lot of flooding and flood-prone properties. So the idea behind the study is to do an analysis of this large watershed area. It's about 830 acres, and it's bounded geographically by Farmington Avenue to the north, New Park Avenue to the east, and that includes New Park Avenue going into Hartford, Flatbush Avenue to the south, and Quaker Lane south to the west. So it's a pretty big area where they're going to do an analysis looking at our drainage system, figuring out where the problems are and what some solutions could be, including green infrastructure if at all possible. And again, it's mostly West Hartford, but it does spread into Hartford. Having it go into Hartford was helpful in us getting a grant to do this study. We secured a grant through the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection for approximately $700,000. So we're excited to get this started. A couple of examples of areas that are included in the watershed area for the analysis are Prospect at Boulevard, which floods on occasion, pretty busy intersection, and some of the surrounding properties as well. And then another area is down near the One Park development on their site, and just downstream of it, there's a culvert that goes under Prospect Avenue. So there's a number of areas. Those are two that are flood prone that we're interested in getting some solutions for. The study will take approximately 18 months to complete. There'll be a lot of outreach and public involvement in this, so you'll be hearing more about it as the project progresses. And the last thing that I wanted to mention is, which was not included in the department report, just didn't make it in time, is Mr. Summer, our town engineer, has put together a pretty busy construction season, including a lot of paving in town. And our first round of resurfacing, milling, and paving is about to start. You may have seen an announcement on this, and the information is on our engineering webpage. But they're planning on starting on Sunday, May 11th in the evening. This first round has a number of streets that we're going to be doing the resurfacing at night. So that's why it's starting Sunday night. So May 11th, around 8 p.m., they should be starting this round. And with the milling. And that'll happen on Kane Street. I'll run the list of the full round in a second, but on Kane Street is where they plan on starting on May 11th with the milling, and then the paving is going to start on Sunday evening around 8 o'clock again on May 18th. So it's about a week of milling, and then I believe it is a couple weeks of paving. So the full list for the first round is as follows, and again, this is on our webpage. Kane Street from Prospect to Oakwood, which contains night work, as I mentioned. Tropper Drive from Boulevard to Park also contains night work. Raymond Road from Farmington to Burr. Similarly, that section will be at night, and then continuing on Raymond, but during the day, Burr Street to Park. Mountain Road from Boulevard to Buena Vista during the day. Cedric Road from Buena Vista to Ridgewood, so that's just a continuation of that same road, also during the day. And then the last one is Asylum Avenue from Tropper Drive to Steel Road during the day. So it's a mixture of night and day work for resurfacing for our first round. We have 2 other rounds planned. We'll make announcements when we get closer as to what those streets are. In case there's any changes, we don't like to list those off too early. We do have a couple reconstructions planned as well, King Philip Drive and the Albany Avenue service driveway, which is a short roadway. More to come on that. So that will conclude my report. Happy to answer any questions that anybody has. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just a question on the night work. How long did that go for? Like you start at 8 o'clock, how late does that go?
It can vary depending on the road. Obviously the length, the width, the complexity of the construction, but usually they try to get off the road before the morning commute. So I would say 6 a.m. would be a goal.
Okay, so that is an all night job. And so what kind of outreach do we do to neighbors?
Well, as Mr. Summer mentioned before, we typically put out the lawn signs in advance of our milling and paving, which has additional information that they can find on the webpage. So it's a basic sign that says, hey, we're going to be paving. If you want more information, go to the webpage. I'll turn it over to Greg Summer. I don't know if we did direct mailings for any of these streets. I don't think that was a typical practice because they're such short duration. Usually it's just one evening of milling and then another evening of paving. If it was a longer duration project, then we typically would do direct mailings.
Okay, so typically just a one night process.
Yes.
All right, thank you. I'm just expecting, if people are surprised by that, I would expect to get calls or emails on that for something that for an overnight. I would think more for a day. But anybody have any questions or?
This is Sherry, Mayor. Thank you, Deputy Mayor, through you. Just a quick question on King Philip. What section is that? And obviously with the construction going on at 1700 and hopefully remediation going on at 1800 and at some point in some construction, I just am wondering what the plan is for that.
Sure. Again, Dwayne Martin, through you, Deputy Mayor, to the mayor. This is King Philip Drive from Tumblebrook Lane down to Fuller Drive. So it's the very northerly section of King Philip Drive, and it's planned in the summertime because it's pretty close to a couple schools. So unfortunately, we have to wait until the summer to do that just because it creates some issues, but it's somewhat removed from the former UConn campus.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you and the report, and looking forward to all that work getting done. Another busy season. So thank you. Councilor Cortez, do you have any questions?
No, thank you.
All right. Thank you. And do we have any other reports, Ms. Ludwig?
No, that's it this morning, Deputy Mayor. Appreciate everyone's flexibility in moving this meeting, and appreciate your time.
All right. With that, without objection, I'll move to adjourn. Hearing no objection, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.